It's podcast number 3. And last week is when podcast number 3 was supposed to be. And sorry to Mitch from Foreign Ruffians, who's like the new fucking Matt Damon of our show. Apologies to
The
Matt Damon for
sad part
not
is
being.
we were gonna have a guest on our podcast for the first time ever. It was gonna be Mitch from Born Ruffians. We had so many fun stories that we were gonna share, and then it just didn't happen because of technical difficulties.
We have literally never had a guest on our podcast so many years of doing it. Like we did the
Yeah,
podcast for I think 2.5 straight years when we started it and had never had a guest. And we planned
but
ahead. We
and
prepped.
yeah. So one of the things we wanted to do with this podcast, and one of the easiest things to do now that we're doing it remotely, is actually getting guests on, like guests from the industry, guests that we know, just interesting people, anyone that wants to come on weekly. And we thought we'd start doing that last week with goddamn Mitch. And then my computer crapped out. I don't even know what's wrong with it. I hate technology sometimes because I spent 2 hours trying to fix it, and I still when you have a problem with your computer and you're sitting there trying to fix it, and then you have that big aha moment, and it's like, it's finally fixed. I haven't had that yet because I still have not fixed it. We're recording this on Skype instead of Zoom because my audio is just all crackly on Zoom for some reason.
Yeah, it was. I had Mitch on standby for probably like 45 full minutes, just giving him updates, being like, it wasn't this, and it also wasn't this, and this wasn't the problem. We're doing it next week.
I feel so bad. I should have reached out and said sorry, but I didn't even do that.
We can
We'll have him
pump.
on again though. He'll
We can
he'll
pump
come
his
on again.
Patreon right now
Yeah.
as a nice thing. Born Ruffians just started their own Patreon. It's $8 a month, and you get exclusive Born Ruffians content that you can't get anywhere else. So, subscribe, support artists who cannot tour, and check them out. You'll
Yeah,
find
maybe,
it on
maybe
social links.
maybe one day he'll come back on our podcast.
Yeah, we'll get him like next week or some shit. One thing I wanted to start the podcast with, it's been driving me crazy. So, my girlfriend, she got a new apartment, but the last like month and a half, 2 months, we've been like obsessing over listings, just like
Mm-hmm.
constantly looking on like Facebook groups and PadMap or whatever. I got like a hair in my mouth.
Get it. By the way, Facebook groups are a hard place to find a apartment in. I'll just tell you that right now.
Oh, it's bad. Like you go
Yeah.
there, and by the time you've seen something, like 27 people have been like DM'd.
So that's the issue, is that everyone is using Facebook. That's why Craigslist is the trustiest place to find yourself a new apartment. So my girlfriend Danny still has a property in St. Catharines, and when we're looking for a tenant, we did not know about Facebook Marketplace, that you could actually find a tenant on there, and we'd always post on Kijiji, and we'd always post on Craigslist, and then we did it on Facebook Marketplace one time and got like 100 people reaching out. I'm like, holy
Facebook
crap.
Marketplace is incredible. Like
Yeah, but
it's
I've never.
it's way better structured than Kijiji. It's way better structured than Craigslist just for like filtering things.
Yeah.
But yeah, like no one goes on Craigslist anymore because of
So,
Facebook.
so yeah, when you're looking for a new place to rent, Facebook Marketplace must be the worst ever because there's hundreds of people on there.
So is Danny a landlord?
But we just actually sold the place, so not anymore really.
But when she
It,
was
it,
the landlord, did you guys ever do like the landlord fantasy?
the landlord, what's the land? Oh, I'm a tenant. Oh, I know about the landlord. Property sex.
Oh yeah.
Like Pornhub.com/property sex. Which one though? Am I the landlord? Am I the tenant that can't pay? Is she the sexy realtor? They have so
She
many different ones
she is
there.
either the sexy realtor or she is the sexy landlord, and you're clearly the scrawny guy who is always like, is he old enough to be in porn? But he's in the video, so I guess he is.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I'm
didn't get
dying
it. I
for.
didn't get ID'd at the LCBO today, so I think I have old eyes. I'm getting ID'd less now that I have a mask. I think I have old eyes, maybe.
That's what I'm looking for in porn is their eyes.
Yeah. No,
But
to
anyways,
answer your question, we did not do the landlord thing.
plenty of time left to go in your relationship. One thing I wanted to
Okay.
talk about was when you're looking in all of these Facebook groups and shit, you'll see people that do the opposite of hunt for an apartment. They just like post that they want one, hoping that someone is going to be like, "Oh, I'll do all the work for you."
Yeah.
It's so
That
fucking lazy.
That's like the most millennial way of looking for an apartment. And I don't think your landlord wants the type of person that just posts that they want an apartment. That would be like someone posting that they want a job and not applying for jobs.
Yes, it's like the people that I said this about getting off topic already, but I said this to bands. Like I tweeted it the other day. We have so many fucking bands and artists that just DM us being like, "Yo, LOL, play our song." I'm like, it makes me want to play you less when you care that little about what you're doing.
They're trying though. I do understand it. They're kind of reaching out to everyone. I want to tell those people I have no pull at this station. Like there's no way that emailing me is going to help. But we get so many emails from bands that I sadly don't even look at them. Like I
There's
can't.
there's proper channels to go through and it's not hard to find the people to talk to. You know, like you go to indie88.com, you go to music submissions, there's a literal page for it. You find the music director's email, you email him. Like it's
They might.
so easy
Yeah.
to
I,
find
I
the
always
correct
just
channel.
I always assume that they don't know how a radio station works, so they don't understand that a music director picks all the songs. And you know, sometimes you will give Mike a band and you'll be like, this is a really good band, so maybe they're hoping something like that.
Yeah, I I
But at
I
the same time, if there are any bands listening right now that want to know how to get noticed by a radio station, Mike, I think I heard him say it once, is that um, the radio station almost notices you. If you're making enough noise in Toronto, the radio station will notice you, and that's oftentimes how we hear about bands because that guy's going out to shows every single night. Like he knows the local scene pretty well.
Yeah, totally. And I'm not shitting on bands. This comes from a place of genuine love and like just you're wasting your time. I'm not saying this to be like,
Mm,
fuck you for not trying. I'm saying this to be like, there's a correct way to do it, and you will at least get a response this way. If you
yeah,
flood people's DMs, they're just going to check it and not listen. But
yeah.
anyway,
You,
back to the
we get
thing.
we get so many that we can't listen to them all though. We do.
Exactly.
And
Okay,
I
back.
feel like a jerk not responding to them, but it's just the way it is.
We love local bands, and I'm
Yeah.
sure that a lot of you are very great. But this is the type of person that just posts, "Hey, I want an apartment." But it's people that include the photos of what they look like when they want the apartment, and it's always a thirst trap photo. Like you're trying
Really?
to, it's like you're trying to fuck somebody through the apartment listing. It's like, "Hey, what's up? I'm 23, fucking shredded. Check it."
Oh, it's dudes?
It's
I
dudes
thought it
and
was
it's women. Like
chicks.
it's both. They
Really?
both post like the hottest photos of that they have, and they're like 28, young professional, super clean, 420 friendly, and look at my midriff. Like it's crazy.
You know that it's worked once or twice before, though.
Someone on Facebook has been like, "Ooh, friend request.
Yeah.
I'm
There's some
about to
cre-
let
there's
my
de-
apartment."
there's definitely some creepy landlords out there that has worked for. But that is shameless. That is honestly shameless.
Have you not seen it?
I've honestly never used Facebook Marketplace to find a rental property.
Because it's
So people
bonkers level insanity because it's daily that people are doing this. I understand like wanting to include a photo of yourself, obviously,
Mhm.
to like give people a bit of like your vibe, but it's the people that are like in the good life with like their triceps bursting out of their
Yeah.
fucking shirt that you're like, yeah, that makes me want to live with you. This guy's yoked.
Is it people looking for roommates or is it people looking for actual places?
It's people that are like looking for roommates sometimes. It's people that are looking for like a full apartment, just a room. But yeah, like I saw there a girl the other day posted like three bikini photos from her trip in Miami to be like looking for a room here. And this is the kind of shit that I'm into, just lying on beaches, I guess.
Sadly, that has definitely worked to get a roommate before. And it's probably hurt her too, to tell you the truth, because there's probably been people who look at that and go, I'm not living with someone like this.
For sure. And but like for the thirst trap thing, like, do you want to live with someone who wants to bang you? Because that's going to be horrible. Like in maybe a week.
Yeah, if you're like if it's like a unrequited relationship where you're the person and you move in with someone who you have no interest with, but they're always trying to get with you, that would be
Yes,
awful.
it'd be so uncomfortable. Like anything you do, like I don't know, this girl posts like a cute photo of herself. This pervy dude's like, I'm gonna live with you now. And I was like always walking around shirtless, like, oh, I made you some breakfast too. Hope you don't mind. Like just like little creepy things. I could see it going so poor.
Do you ever do anything when you go and look at a place to try and like plant seeds in the landlord's brain a little bit?
I went to so many viewings over the last like 4 weeks. I like somehow this sounds so shitty, but I somehow try to be like I work at Indie 88.
Do you? Oh my god! Do you know who I am?
Not do you know who I am? Like, do
That's
you know
exactly
the
what that is. That's exactly what that is.
No, it's do you know the
Yeah, it
station?
is.
Because we exist and I have a job. Like I have steady income. I'm an essential worker.
Yeah. I was talking more about when I go to a place, I always go to the landlord and I was like, how are the neighbors like upstairs? Are they loud or anything? Because it subtly says that you aren't loud and you don't want to be loud. So
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. I think like I'm always like commenting on how clean it is. Or I'm like, oh yeah, like we could clean this place up and make it spotless, just making it seem like you're very tidy and very like detail oriented when it comes to maintaining the space that you'll be living in.
When
And
I look for a place with Danny, I drop that she has a property and we've done the landlord thing a million times. So I'll be like, oh yeah, it's really hard to find a quality tenant. You know,
we've been there.
We have one in St. Catharines. It's really hard. I'm sure everyone does it though.
Yeah, there's like I'm sure like little things that you do, like exactly what you're saying is plant a seed. Like I'm always trying to um just seem like the best possible person that would live somewhere when I know for a fact I am not who you want.
No.
Place.
Did you guys find a place?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not moving in with her, but she got a new spot, and I was there for the viewing, so I'd like to think that I helped her land
Yeah.
this.
Dropping that. Do you know who I am?
I'm Carlin Burton from the Josie
small
Dice
town,
Show.
small town radio host, or a small time radio host.
How dare you, small town? This is
Small
Toronto,
time.
baby.
This is
We're in the
Toronto, big town.
Um,
Why'd she want to move out? Was she didn't like having roommates or something?
yeah, I hope her roommates don't listen to this. But they were just like young and annoying.
Mm.
They were like 24 years old, and we're 28 and 29.
Oh,
And
man, so much younger.
It is. It's like, and those 4 years, I think, are like monumental in shaping who you become for the rest of your life.
You think so?
I think from 23 to like 27 is such a defining set of years. Because I know who I was at 23, and I was a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like my cat is going fucking wild, and
I can hear him a little bit.
Nuts. But yeah, like those are like formative years. You kind of you do a lot of growing up in those years, and they're at this point where it's like, we're best friends because we live together, and like let's do roomy Christmas and movie night, and everything we do has to be together. And you're like, no, it fucking doesn't. We just live in the same space.
Yeah, it's funny because you will probably say that about the next 4 years of your life too.
Like the next 4 years will be formative for.
Yeah, because it is a lot of when you look back on it, it is a lot different. Like when I was 23, good lord, when I was 23, I was living in that basement apartment on Beverley Street. Do you remember that place?
Yeah,
and I was okay with it. I was okay with it.
Not only were you okay with it, you were always offering up this shithole to be the pre-drink location.
And everyone always came over.
Because we were like, whatever, if we spill on the ground, there's a drain in the middle of the floor.
There was a drain in the floor. Why did everyone always come over there to pre-drink?
Because you
Other
made
people
them.
Had houses. No, I didn't. I just was the person that reached out and said, hey, come over for this. No one else offered up their place.
I think it's because you lived alone and you lived downtown, and we were like using your spot to jump to a bar or a show.
Yeah. I had some fun times in that place. I can't believe I lived there for so long. Like when I look back, do you have a place like that where you look back and you're like, how the hell did I live there for 3 years?
My first basement apartment in Toronto was a 3 bedroom basement apartment. The rooms were a shoebox, but they all had an ensuite bathroom. It was so fucking
Really?
weird. Yeah.
Where? I don't
Uh,
even remember that. That must have been before I knew you.
it was Bathurst and Harvard. It was so weird. And then my second place, I lived above my Portuguese landlords who were like an entire family lived below me. So if you walked up the stairs too loud at nighttime, it was a gong show. It was like
I
attack
remember.
immediately.
Yeah. Was that on Euclid? I think I walked by it the other day.
Markham, so same shit.
Markham. Yeah. Yeah. I remember that place. I've been there.
No doubt you had to sneak up those stairs once.
Yeah. That is an awful situation. I had the landlord living above me one time, but they never bothered me. That was my Beverley Street place. She actually brought me turkey dinner on Thanksgiving once. I'll never forget.
Hey,
Yeah.
shout out to
And
her.
she got so mad when I was moving out that I wouldn't move out a day early so she could paint the place. And I had all my stuff. I'm like, I have nowhere to go. I can't move out. Like it's the weirdest things that these people get so mad about.
You're like, you brought me turkey dinner because I'm not from here and don't have family or friends. Where do you expect me to go?
Yeah. I like it. It's like yeah, I have nowhere. Where am I gonna sleep? Where am I gonna go? But yeah, that's good that she found a place though.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
I'm
it closer
excited.
to you?
Yeah, yeah, it's I mean, I'm not gonna say where it is, but it's closer for sure and closer to like where she's gonna be working out of, so it's all
Yeah.
good.
When Danny and I started dating, after 3 months, I moved in about a block away from her,
I know,
which
it was
seemed weird.
crazy.
Which seemed weird it didn't seem weird at the time, but now when I look back on it, it's kind of weird. But it just happened like that because I had to move because my sister was moving to Toronto and we were getting a place together. And the place that I looked at a bunch of places and all of them were okay. And then I found this amazing place for cheaper rent, but it was a block away from her. And I had to have that conversation and be like, is this really weird? And we were super tight from the start, so it wasn't the weirdest thing in the entire world. I guess it worked out. It worked out fine.
Yeah, but like looking back, you do recognize that it was like stalker
Could have
shit.
went sideways. Well, whenever you start dating someone after 3 months, you think that you're like so tight and so close and know them so well. But when
Hmm.
you look back on it, it's like there's a lot of crazy and a lot of stuff that came out after that point in the relationship. Like you don't know someone that well after 3 months, especially in the honeymoon stage, and especially when you have only had so many conversations with them.
Are you the
Like
kind of person that
everyone's still
like
putting on their best face.
yeah, of course. Are you the kind of person that like embeds yourself in the neighborhood that you live in? Like you have like a local coffee shop, a local spot to grab a drink, like here's where I
Local
grab
deli.
lunch. Like, are you that kind of person?
Yeah, yeah,
Because that could have been fucking ruined for you. Like all those
yes.
local spots that because you're obviously going with her to those spots and
Hmm.
she lives in the exact same hood. It could have been a nightmare. Like that would be a real big bummer to me is if I couldn't go to like my favorite spots in my neighborhood because of a breakup.
Yeah. Well, it'd be difficult if you started seeing someone else or if you had like other people over and they saw you. That's what would be awkward. But yeah,
Yeah,
you would have to travel for sure.
but you would know the barista had like seen her in there earlier, and he's like, "Yeah, they're not together anymore."
Yeah. But that's like even if you live at a place with someone and then they move and then like clearly your neighbors are like that. They're like, "Oh, I've seen he used to live with someone else and now he's got someone else there."
Oh yeah, my when I lived with my ex, they saw like what they saw. I actually don't really know, but I'm sure it was like a fucking entertaining little sitcom that they got to enjoy for quite some time. It's
Why?
crazy. Because like
Just
this, she was there, she wasn't there. She would pop by for a second. I'd be like, "Why are you here? Leave." She's gone again. Like it's crazy.
not too bad.
Yeah, dang, too
Um,
bad. You know,
yeah, too bad.
fantastic.
Not at all. How long have you been dating your current girlfriend, by the way?
We're like 2 weeks away from our 1 year anniversary.
So when are you guys moving in together?
I think we'll probably wait until like the pandemic is over.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's
she
probably a
just
good
signed a
idea,
year
actually.
lease, which is good.
Yeah.
The thing about the pandemic is like I feel like we've been together for like triple as long because it's the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like there
It's
should be,
it's
it's like dog years and pandemic years are like a thing. It's
yeah.
like one pandemic year is like three actual years.
I think it does add a year to your relationship. Like Danny and I were still in the honeymoon stage when we got into this pandemic. I feel almost not anymore. She's not excited about this anymore at all.
Nothing, eh?
Or well, a little bit sometimes. Not like she used to be.
It focuses, like, there's a lot of give and take in the middle of a pandemic. You really have to be like, what makes this person happy? Because there's not a lot of happiness right now. So there's a shit ton of compromise. Like, I've invested so much in my space to make us both comfortable here, and like just to make it more inhabitable, because it's not the biggest place in the world, and I think I have a nice apartment, but you're spending a lot of time inside, so you definitely have to be happy and
Yeah.
like inside of that space that you're in so much.
Yeah. Well, yeah, space is the number one thing because when we started, Danny and I were sharing a room in a goddamn apartment and there was not enough space. And we moved here where there's like an office. She's working from home, so there's an office, there's decks, like patios, and a bedroom, and it makes a huge difference.
Fuck yeah, dude. Instead
Oh
of
yeah.
sharing a room with a roommate and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, you live here
Well,
too for some reason.
that was the shitty thing. So I moved in with her in January, just into her room, and she had a roommate because I was staying over there every night, like you do when you're in a relationship. I thought, okay, let's just save on rent. And then the pandemic happened, and and I was sharing a room with her, and she had a roommate, and it was awful. Like it was just, and I like her roommate. Her roommate was great, but it's just like you're seeing, her and I were too close together, but B, you need your own space. Like you need your own space.
It's exhausting to have to like go outside, like to go into the kitchen, not expecting to see somebody, seeing someone, and having to do that.
Yeah,
Hey,
where you got to be on. Yeah,
not
it's
into it.
terrible. Did you
Speaking
see
of,
this?
wait, no, you go, you go.
No, did you see this thing? I it and I loved it. The Dallas Mavericks stopped playing the national anthem at their basketball games, and the best part about it was no one noticed until like the Athletic did a story on it, and I just feel like I have all the respect for the veterans in the entire world, and I think that we definitely have to respect them and everything. But why before a sports game? Like I've always thought, why are we doing this national anthem before a sports game?
It's incredibly weird. And same thing, like to whoever fought and continues to fight for our freedom, like obviously I respect the fucking shit out of what you do. I'm an actual baby. I stub my toe. I tell this story about how bad it hurt for a fucking week. I can't imagine
Hmm.
like the mental turmoil of having to go overseas with a gun and not know if you're coming back. Like,
It's
yes,
crazy.
mad
Yeah.
respect forever. However, why I have to sing "Oh Canada" at the start of a hockey game that sometimes has more like American players or Russian players in it.
Yeah.
It makes no fucking sense to me.
I actually looked it up, like where the national anthem before sports games came from. I don't think that they do it in Europe, like at their sports games. I don't think that they're doing national anthems there because it was very American. So the Star Spangled Banner is about the war, a battle in the War of 1812, and the first time a national anthem was played at a sporting game was before a game during the American Civil War. I don't remember what sport it was, and then it became popular again during World War One before sports games and was popularized even more during World War Two. So it is like a real patriotic type thing. And I think that the tradition just stuck. Like no one's gonna how do you get rid of that?
Well,
I
that was
guess
the
you
thing
just stop
because
doing it.
for so long, I'm sure people were like, it's a disrespect to our veterans. When I'm like, no, it's not. It's so weird to play it. If you are in the Olympics and you're playing country versus country, of course play the national anthems.
Yeah.
But anything else doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, so the it's funny, it was from the direction of Mark Cuban and they just stopped doing it. And like I said, it's funny that no one noticed, but now the NBA is making them play it again.
What?
Yeah. I think that's what I read today that the
They
NBA
have to
I
do it?
I think so. I want to double check, but I read that today that they actually have to start playing it again.
I saw
Let
that
me
the
check.
Dallas Stars like responded to a question that no one fucking asked them. That was just, we here are proud to be the only hockey team from Texas, and we will continue to play Star Spangled Banner, and we will root and toot and gun tote, and like obviously like Texas is gonna fucking play it. the best part of the All-Canadian Hockey Division is a one Anthem game every
Yeah,
single night.
yeah, for sure. They do have to. They're gonna resume playing the national anthem. It says.
So if the Athletic didn't write the article, no one would have noticed, and they would have got
No
away
one
with
would have
it for the
noticed.
whole
Yeah,
season. That's
yeah.
bonkers.
It's such a. I don't want to talk crap about our national anthem because it's beautiful. I respect the veterans, but it's like not something that we need to. It's not like a super pump up song. Like I feel like hockey players, their minds are elsewhere when when the national anthem is playing, but it would probably be better served if they played some super aggressive pump up song to get the people going before the game, right?
Each team should have maybe their own team song.
Yeah. Like the seventh inning stretch song in baseball games,
Yes.
something like that. But I will say this about it: there are people. Some of the only times I've seen my dad shed a single little tear is during the national anthem before a hockey game. If it's like a meaningful hockey game, he'll get a little choked up there. So
Oh,
it
and
means something to some people. Maybe it's our generation where we're a little bit different, but it's interesting.
and I will say, I love watching Martina Ortiz Luis fucking belt that Leaf anthem. Like I sing it the way that she sings it because I love how she sings it so much.
Oh yeah.
For
Well, and every team has their national anthem person who is almost like they're part of the team. Because the Oilers, their new guy is Robert Clark, and when the Oilers were in the playoffs that one year, and he was up in the nosebleeds where he sang it, I thought that was the coolest shit in the entire world. And I hadn't seen anyone do that before, and I haven't really seen anyone do it since. Has anyone?
I don't think so.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Did you see
Yeah,
how they were doing it? It was
yeah.
so cool.
He's
Like
part of the
he was
crowd,
in
man.
he was part of the crowd in the stands, and it was the nosebleeds. It wasn't like the lower bowl. He was up in the nosebleeds. I thought it was so badass.
I'm just happy that I don't have to see that fucking prick from Boston sing the
Yeah.
anthem anymore. With
Yeah.
his like, he used to do like the pump up where
Yeah,
they like
yeah.
show his rings or hands. I was like, you're old as dirt, buddy. Your arm is gonna fall off if you pump it any harder.
Did he retire, or are you saying
Or
that
did he
because
die?
no, because the North Division's happening this year. Did he retire, or is he still doing it?
He retired a couple years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he was one of the most famous ones because I even know who you're talking about. And
Yeah.
why do I need to know who that guy is?
And if the anthems have before sporting events have given us anything, it's Mark Donnelly skating, tripping over the red carpet, and falling during the anthem.
Yeah,
For the
that
Vancouver
was
Canucks, like that's the greatest clip.
it is, and it always reminds me of Jay and Dan because they always play it, and I can picture them laughing about it too.
Oh man, R.I.P. to Jay and Dan. What a
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
bummer. I love Dan O'Toole. If for some reason, Dan, you ever see this, you're a big reason of why I do my show the way I do it,
yeah,
pal.
yeah.
Let's talk small towns and the differences between the way that they handle COVID and the way that like a city handles COVID.
Have you've went to a small town since COVID?
Uh,
Clearly,
I I went back to my hometown of Keswick, Ontario,
hell yeah, brother.
over the weekend just to go skating outside because you can't play shinny in Toronto, and there's like a lot of like outdoor backyard rinks, people that my parents
Hmm.
know and that kind of stuff, where you can socially distance, wear a mask playing shinny, and just actually play. Because skating without a stick and puck, honestly, not for me.
It's like walking. It's just
Yeah,
not fun.
it's so boring. So my buddy Cody, who I talked about, and is very upset that I called him bloated Brendan Fraser in the first episode. You're a handsome
Yeah,
guy,
he
Cody.
listened to that.
Yeah, his girl. Want to know what happened? His girlfriend fucking ratted me out, Lauren. Uh, she says, "Just so you know, Brent called you fat in his first podcast." I was like,
You didn't call
"Whoa,"
him fat. You called
paraphrasing a
him
little
bloated.
bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a handsome man. Back to what we're talking about. So his cousins have a backyard rink, and they were like, "You can come skating on it. It's huge. It's safe. Blah blah blah." We're on the way there, and he's like, "Just so you know, they might be a little more lax with COVID than we are." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not going inside anywhere. I fucking
Yeah.
play by the rules, man. I'm not going inside to see my parents, so I'm not doing that." And we get there, we're walking. I'm wearing two masks over my face, not to be like huge into COVID were outside. I still wear a mask when I'm outside, but I'm wearing it because it's minus 17 with the wind chill. It's freezing and I just want my face covered. Within 10 seconds of being there, they're like, okay, you can take your mask off. I was like, why would you even say that to someone?
Why do you care? Why do people care?
Like, what am I doing that bothers you?
Are they anti-maskers? Like, do they feel like their rights are being infringed on?
They're
Do they think you're
RA.
gonna get carbon dioxide poisoning?
Like they're like mid to late 20s. So that's why I was like, what is so drastically different about being like in a small town to a city and the way that that affects the way that you look at the pandemic? Because I would never say that to someone.
I just wouldn't care. I'd be like, if you want to wear a mask all day, go ahead.
Yeah. But it was like clockwork. He was like, they're probably going to say something. And they did.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me too much, actually. I haven't really spent any time in small towns, though, whether that's good or bad, since COVID has happened. I did go up and play shinny, though, last weekend, because Danny had to drop some Christmas presents off at her parents' house in Port Perry, and they have lakefront property, and we scraped off some of the lake and played on there. And it was really fun, actually. That was the first time I got the stick and puck out this winter.
Honestly, I understand curbing like how many cases and limiting exposure and stuff, and like the more people that you have out there, sure, people are going to be digging for pucks and maybe breathing on each other a little bit, and you don't want it, so it doesn't happen. But a skating rink without a stick and a puck is absolutely, it's like watching paint dry to me.
Yeah. Have you seen people since most of Ontario is opening up before Toronto, do you see people on Twitter complaining about Torontonians coming to their like Napanee or whatever?
Yeah.
Do you find it like a little insulting?
Yeah, you come to our city every fucking day to do shit.
Yeah. And there's probably annoying Torontonians who will go out to Napanee to eat at Earl's or something, but
which is so weird.
It's just annoying. Like the tone of their tweets is like, I'm gonna take a goddamn trip to Napanee now, just because. Obviously, I won't, but just when I read it, I'm like, I know that I'm not I'm not the person that they're talking to, but for some reason this makes me want to disobey the rules.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, like I go home. I went home a ton in the summer because like rules were different, and in the city without events in the summertime is kind of useless. And my parents live on the lake, so I was like, I'm going to spend every weekend I have on the lake. But I would go back there, and I obviously look like I'm not from Keswick.
Yeah,
like I'm wearing shorts, I'm wearing a tie-dye shirt, like whatever.
Not wearing enough denim.
Yes.
As in like denim from the waist up.
Yes. Like I clearly look like a city slicker, but I'm born and raised there, you know? Like I lived my whole fucking life there. And I can tell that people are looking at me being like, fucking Torontonians coming back using our beaches. I'm like, it's my fucking beach, dude. Like, are you kidding me? But I can feel it.
Yeah, there's a bit of a divide. It's not like yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting to me. But we're opening back up. It's not gonna be that long.
Yeah. Soon we'll be fucking spraying particles with the boys all over again.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I can't wait to see if a bathroom stall is open and then watch a guy do blow in a Toronto restaurant. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, sharing a bathroom with that.
Just a guy who's like waiting for the fucking hand dryer to go on so he can go. And you're like, I know what you're doing. You care that you're doing blow, dude. Like, fuck.
Yeah. It's like, why is this guy standing waiting in the stall? His feet are facing the wrong way.
You got a shit, dude? Oh, no.
No. There's a line now. People are waiting. They should get off the pod here.
You just glitched out so bad that it was at the perfect time, and it made the line you said funnier, I think.
Oh.
Either shit or get off.
Yeah, my apologies for. It's the best impression I've ever.
Holy fuck.
Is the internet crapping out?
It is. I think we should probably call it here.
Okay. Well, thank you again for anyone who has listened. And if you want to leave any comments or questions or any topics that you want to talk about, or if you're interested and want to come on the podcast one day, make sure to leave it in the comments section.
Yeah, Carlin's voice is mangled right now.
Does that
So
work?
we appreciate the fact that you're listening still at this point, and we're going to have guests on very soon. So thanks for your patience with the fact that we didn't have an episode, and we'll see you again soon.